Geek out! LaserDicks, you sexy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Hey, and welcome to another exciting episode of LaserDicks. I'm Chris.
And I'm sick.
And today we are going to focus on one movie and one movie alone.
Ooh.
Technically two movies, I guess you could say. Yeah. That movie, Brazil.
I wish I could sing the bars from the ending, but I don't really.
Brazil. It's oddly enough. So I was curious and I looked it up. So named because the song Brazil is a reoccurring theme in the movie. Mm-hmm. Because the story itself has nothing to do with Brazil.
That's what threw me through the loop. Yeah,
it is not set in Brazil. It is set in a dystopian England, as far as I can tell. Although I think people drive on the American side of the everything, so who knows? I guess that's how you get dystopian England. You change their cars to American style.
That's a stab in our own gut right there.
I'm saying actually, it's if you think about it, it's a stab on them because it's saying that they're so dumb they can't adjust. I've driven a left-handed car. It's not that tough.
Well, I mean, yeah, like it takes you like what a span of 5 minutes just to realign yourself. Like, this goes there.
Depending on how your brain works. Some people it probably won't work. You know.
So what do we got here?
Anyway, so
that's a big box.
Yes,
first of all.
This is a huge fucking box. As far as I'm aware, this is the Criterion Collection is the only way that you can get Brazil on LaserDisc. You might be able to get like just the straight movie. I didn't really do any research before this.
Neither did. Yeah.
All I did was watch the movie and then watch the alternate version of the movie that's also collected in this LaserDisc, and then like kind of read things here and there online. But now that I'm thinking of it, I should have checked to see if there's alternate versions of the movie on LaserDisc.
You know what?
Or alternate releases, rather.
I did read that release section, and I saw mostly DVD mentions. So I think you are safe in assuming this is the way to get it.
Okay. So we are, just in case it's not, we are discussing the Criterion Collection of Brazil, which is, let me get an exact count, 10 sides long. So that's 5 discs.
And we both have this, by the way.
Yeah, we both own our own individual copies. The first, what is that, 3 discs? Yeah. The first 3 discs are the CAV standard play version of the director's cut of the film, which is not the theatrical cut that you saw if you saw it here in America.
That's right.
But it is the theatrical cut if you saw it in most parts of Europe, and I think pretty much everywhere else in the world. Then you have, looks like 1 disc.
The bonus features, right?
Yeah, 1 or 2 discs dedicated to bonus features, talking about the production and how things were changed for the American release. And then the final disc, sides 9 and 10, in the collection, are a extended play CLV version of what is known as the Love Conquers All version of Brazil. And to explain the what's going on with that, what was this?
85.
Yeah, right there.
Everything happened in 1985.
All the best stuff. I was born. Back to the future.
Yeah.
So in 1985, when this movie was released, Terry Gilliam of Monty Python, Flying Circus fame. He's the guy that he's not actually an actor from Monty Python per se, but he was more of a creative side. He did do the drawings that would sometimes kind of put intermission between their skits. But he best known, in my opinion, as director of some very weird movies, including Brazil. But like also. He's the guy that did Time Bandits.
Okay.
More recently, he did the Zero Theorem and The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, the movie
I did see that. Yeah,
the movie that Heath Ledger passed away halfway through production, which just made the movie that much weirder.
Yeah. Well, because their shtick was, okay, we didn't film any of the scenes, or at least they were going to get actors to substitute inside the dream sequences.
Yeah, and it just kind of... it was weird.
It was weird.
It was supposed to be weird, but it just was made weirder by the fact that they replaced him for certain scenes and not overall. I mean, they found a clever way to replace them, but like we can get into that. Well, no, we can't because it was never released on LaserDicks. So never mind. That's
coming
all
soon to DVD dicks.
Digital video dicks. But so Terry Gilliam filmed a 142-minute version of the movie, and that is the director's cut. Then he edited it down to 132 minutes to appease various rules on what you can do in an American production versus a European production. You actually see it a lot of times. There will be like the European cut, not so much anymore, but like in the 80s, like there was like the European cut was like a minute longer or something like that because they have different rules about like the violence or nudity that you can have in a movie. So I assume that's what the 132-minute version is. You don't really see the 132-minute version ever, though, because the Universal Studios, if I remember correctly, is the distributor for the U.S. They took that, and without Terry Gilliam's knowledge, they cut out another, like, 20 minutes, I think it is.
So it ended up being 90?
It ended up being about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit, maybe almost an hour 40.
I want to say 90.
And that's what they released in theaters.
94.
So, yeah, they cut out a lot. Well, they cut out about 40 minutes from the director's cut, 30 minutes from his version that they handed about. 28 minutes. God.
Math is great, fun. You know, you should stay in school, kids.
Yeah. No, I was doing just rough estimates, and then like I started being like, oh, someone's gonna be like, no, it's this much, and I started being like,
well, if you carry the towel.
I started being like, I'm not going to do exact math, and then it's simple math, so it just popped into my head right before I said it. So I was like, fine, 28 minutes.
Fine, just drag it out of me.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
But so yeah, they cut up, re-edited his movie without his knowledge.
Yeah,
and released it in the U.S. As Brazil, and he found out about it right around the time that it was premiering. And he was pissed off.
I mean, he has every right to be.
Yeah, he does. And so I read up about this. This was the part of the Brazil that I was interested in, about his reaction to the Love Conquers All version, which is, you know, what if I didn't make it clear enough, that's what their chopped up version is now known as.
Yep.
He put out like a one-page ad in Vanity Fair or one of the industry papers, talking about how, like, if I remember correctly, I wish I had pulled it up in preparation so that I could get it exact. But if you're interested, you can look up Terry Gilliam's, response to Brazil. Excuse me. But it's like a one-page ad about like the death of cinema and how censorship sucks. And then he actually went on like a road tour with the director's cut, showing it at like film schools and stuff like that right around the time that it was premiering. He was like actively campaigning against the U.S. theatrical release of Brazil just because he was like, this is not my movie. This is nothing.
Yeah.
This is crap. And I got to say, after watching both versions within a week of each other, the Love Conquers All movie is a mess.
It is. Well, because people cite it as a great example at poor editing.
Yes.
Like,
it is sloppy. Like his version, I'm standing there right with a lot of folks. His version is very weird. He's a very weird director.
Right.
But it makes sense within the universe that he created.
Exactly.
It's weird, but it's consistently weird. The Love Conquers All version is like someone was like, whatever, it'll fit. We just got to chop out this, and you know what? Start the movie with an explosion.
Well, it sounds like, so full disclosure, I haven't actually seen the Love Conquers All version.
Yeah.
I've been a little bit sick, not a lot of time to stay awake, but from what you've described me, it sounds like somebody far removed from this movie. Because normally when you have an editor, they at least like the movie. Yeah. They're maybe staffed for the movie. Somebody not related to this movie at all was given the task to edit this.
Oh, yeah, no. So it's a completely English production. and the U.S., Universal Studios U.S., just threw it at an editor that they have on hand, and they were like, make it better. Essentially. And yeah, they rearranged, reorganized scene placement.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dining scene with Sam, the main character, and his mother, and his mother's friend, and that friend's daughter. That happens a good 20 minutes into the movie, where Sam's complaining about his mom,
meddling in the promotion.
Meddling and him getting a promotion to the Ministry of Information Retrieval. Something like that. Yeah, no, it's MOI, Ministry of Information.
Information.
And that scene, like I said, it happens about 20-ish minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
It's the first scene in the Love Conquers All version, and it is chopped to shit. It's like I was saying to you on before we got on mic. It's in the full version. It's like a 5-ish minute long scene, maybe even 10 minutes long.
They get there, they argue, they order, they argue some more, then explosion.
It's maybe 30 seconds in the Love Conquers All version, and it's literally just the when it started, I thought that it was just a trailer for the movie because of how much it was jumping around and how it was just half phrases and stuff like that, and then explosion, and then the title card comes up, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I've seen that. The Back to the Future has trailers for the first 2 movies before the movie starts. Maybe that's just no. We're getting into the movie. Okay. That scene's not in the final movie. Okay.
Just sets the bar way high for you.
And then all the computers in the director's cut just have text on them.
Wait, what? I love those computers.
Yeah, no. Don't worry. Yeah. So whenever it has text on the screen on the computers,
right,
there's a narrator reading the information.
Ew.
Because I guess they thought American audiences were too dumb to read. Fun fact, when it's describing Tuttle at the very beginning, or in the Love Conquers All version about 5 minutes into the movie, as opposed to the first scene, so on the screen it says it's height, weight, blah blah blah. On the screen you can clearly read that it says 6 foot 0 inches.
Yeah,
but it has that digital 0 that has the cross through it. Somebody transcribing that screen read that as 6'8", which I sat there and I paused the movie. I just chuckled to myself for a good couple seconds. I was just like, wow, how did you fuck up that bad?
I hope somebody lost a job.
I'm sure they did not.
Oh my god!
But that again, setting the bar low. So continue on. There's a lot of things there's a lot of things that's just I remember the scene being longer, or I feel like more happened, here and here, or stuff happened in between this stuff. So there's a lot of things that was just oh, this is 30 seconds shorter, this is a minute shorter, stuff like that. Then there were whole chunks of the movie taken out. So and for those of you listening, and Ken. In the director's cut, there's all those dream sequences where he's in armor, he's got wings.
He's trying to find the girl. Yeah, and that's what bugged me. It clearly uses those dream sequences to establish that, hey, I've seen this girl in my dreams. So you would think in a Love Conquers All version of the movie, you would know where this girl came from, since it's the focus.
You get the first one that establishes that one, you establish, oh, I've seen her one time. And then 2, you establish that he, is sleeping late because his alarm wasn't working. But so it shows, what he's dreaming about when he's, seeing, when the alarm doesn't go off. And then that is all you get until right near the end, the end, where where it goes back to his daydream and he flies off into the sunset with her. So that's gone. A lot of the interaction with Bob Hoskins' character, the mechanic guy, the Bob Hoskins.
Oh, Mario.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the where they fix the
air
fix, quote unquote fix.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is chopped up, taken out. Their first interaction is there for the most part, complete. With Tuttle.
Well, we have to keep the American actor in the movie.
Yeah, Robert De Niro.
Oh man.
Yeah. But so, yeah, so a lot of so that first scene is almost completely intact, but then that's pretty much the last time you see Bob Hoskins' character in the Love Conquers All version, even though in the full version he comes back like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
You do see so you in the weirdest chop job in my current memory. I might think of another one as we're talking. Actually, it's not the weirdest because it's not weirder than the dinner scene. But one of the weirder chop jobs. So in the Love Conquers All version, or in the full version, he goes back to his apartment, and it's like all frozen, and Bob Hoskins is in there, and that's the scene where he tells him, "Oh, sorry, you've been evicted. You don't live here anymore." And then he goes outside, and Robert De Niro's there, fucking with switching the sewage pipe with the air conditioning, and loads their suits full of shit.
Yeah, I love that bit.
So that bit, the shit is still in it, but they chop it up so that it looks like he's just having trouble getting into his apartment. He doesn't actually interact with Bob Hoskins at all.
Are you?
And then it's like kind of chopped up, further, like like it's just like. It makes Robert De Niro's character, like when they chop it up like this, it happens a couple other times. It makes him look like just a mischievous, like just in it for the malicious intent, not actually as part of a
like a freedom fighter resistance.
Yeah, it looks like he's just I'm a prankster, but like doesn't really give him the proper motivation, in my opinion. And then the department store explosion, that's cut out, but it's still kind of there. Like it's not it's again, it's just little bits here and there chopped up.
Right.
It's just, they did some weird things with censoring dialogue, like swearing.
Oh yeah,
and stuff
I
like
think
that.
I was reading that. Yeah.
There's a part where Cornelius from Fifth Element, who plays his boss.
Yeah.
He says in the full version he says shit, and you can clearly see his mouth saying shit, but there's really bad ADR to say shoot. And it's a completely different voice. poorly done. And then later at the department store, what's her name? Janice or
love
whatever.
interest.
Yeah, love interest girl.
Love interest McGee.
Yeah.
Because that's all. I mean, look.
We can complain about that later.
Yeah.
There's plenty to complain about with the full story too. But like she calls him an asshole for thinking that she's the one that set off the bomb.
Right.
But in the Love Conquers All version, she goes ass, and then there's a hard cut to his reaction, and it's not even like proper like cut. It was like s instead of ass, or asshole. Like, oh god, hole is the bad part. Got to cut that out.
You've got sex bears.
And then jumping ahead to the end. So for those of you that have seen the whole movie, during his interrogation, quote unquote, he basically gets lobotomized. But to show it in the movie. Mm-hmm. It goes through this really crazy dreamscape where he's jumping through different worlds. He's getting rescued from, the interrogation. He sees his mom's friend's funeral.
Yeah, and he falls into the coffin there.
Yeah. Ugh, that is quite a scene.
Oh, yeah.
That's almost completely cut out of the movie. So
because they have to pretend like it's actually happening.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, exactly. That's basically it. Like everything that makes it look like the universe is falling apart is cut out, but he's still. So remember, we were debating when we were watching the full movie, like where does it end? Because I've never seen the Love Conquers All version until now, until doing research for this episode. But I had seen Brazil before, but years ago, so I had a vague recollection of what goes on. So I was glad that we rewatched it. We watched the director's cut together.
Right.
And we were talking, we were like, so where do you think the Love Conquers All version cuts it? Because we know that the director's cut it ends on a down note. And we know that was one of the big things that the studio cut, quote unquote, fixed. wanted to cut out. So like my guess was so right before he gets taken into interrogation, he's with love interest, and they're having having sexy times, and I'm like, oh, that's probably where it cuts out. In the director's cut, they come in, they kidnap him, take him away, interrogation, lobotomy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, my money is on it just fades to black. I was wrong. He does get recaptured.
And I think that what I mentioned was, like, they may have this line where, like, when he's getting recaptured that they killed her twice. Well, they could have easily just muted that out and then continued on with the scene. So I was like, okay, it's going to go a bit further.
Yeah. So he gets recaptured. He gets taken into the interrogation where Monty Python's own Michael Palin, who plays one of his friends at the Ministry of Information, goes in and interrogates him with that baby mask on. It's super creepy.
Yeah.
I love it. I want that baby mask so bad. And then that's where in the director's cut, spoilers if I haven't ruined it for you yet. Also, it's a 31-year-old movie. That's where reality and not fiction, because the whole movie's fiction, but reality. That's where reality in this universe ends, essentially, in the director's cut. And Tuttle, Robert De Niro's character, rappels down with a couple other freedom fighters to rescue him. And in the process, all of them except for Robert De Niro's character dies, escaping out of this thing, which Ken thought was stupid, that they would all risk their lives for this guy. Because who's this guy? He hasn't proved himself.
Exactly. He's just been like, oh, I'm a chummy guy. I got chummy with Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm in love with this girl for no reason, and she loves me back for no reason. She kind of fights it until it's no longer convenient for the plot.
Like, she was an awesome character, and then she just gave in.
Yeah, during that truck scene where she is trying to get rid of him, you're like, oh, cool. And then he writes, I love you on the windshield. And she's like, oh, I love him too, I guess. And then she kind of struggles with it, but then she just miraculously comes back into her life for no reason.
Take me, I'm yours, protagonist.
Yeah. Boo. They could have, she deserved more. She deserved better. So De Niro rappels down, rescues him. They all die except for Sam and Tuttle, the main character and Robert De Niro's character. Sam, played by the guy who was the bad guy in Tomorrow Never Dies, James Bond. Yeah, which I recognized him off the bat, right off the bat, and I was like, who is this guy? And I went through his entire IMDb, because he's done a lot, but a lot of stuff that I haven't seen. And then I was like, Tomorrow Never Dies. That's him. So they escape. Tuttle and Sam escape, and then Tuttle gets attacked by papers.
Yeah, that weirded me out.
Which, oddly enough, remained in the Love Conquers All version.
But that's like the weirdest thing.
It is.
I guess they couldn't cut it so
they could have. Because you want to know what the next scene. So he's getting attacked by newspaper.
Yeah.
Sam goes down to try to save him, and then it just turns into a pile of papers.
Yeah.
And then in the full version, that's where he starts running away, and that's where he goes to the funeral and stuff happens.
Right.
Love Conquers All version, hard cut from papers to he's inside the truck with love interest, and they're driving off to parts unknown. And then
and this is where I jumped in, because they do have this ending out on YouTube. And
then it cuts to them in like a cute field or whatever.
Was that in the movie?
I remember seeing it, but I think it was like in a different place, or I think it might have been his dream. I think it was.
She had longer hair.
Yeah, so I think it was. I'd have to go back and rewatch the director's cut again, just to put my finger on exactly, because like I said, they rearranged a couple scenes.
Right.
So I was like, I know I've seen this, but I forget how what the context was in the director's cut. I'm sure I could just pull up a website and it would tell me, but I'm not going to do that because it's bad radio. But yeah, and then it cuts to his fantasy where he's flying off with her in his full armor and wings, and I'm just like, the fuck. and then That's where it ends. And I'm like,
Brother.
if I were gonna do, if I was the studio exec,
yeah,
and I was like, it needs to have a happy ending.
Yeah,
I would have literally done what I said while we were watching the movie and just cut it right there at the happy ending.
Your hero gets some. The end.
And you know what? That cuts out like 20 minutes from the movie. You could have pretty much kept everything else.
Keep the dream sequences because it's cool.
Yeah, really, the only thing you don't get by cutting it where I say cut it is you don't get any kind of resolution from Tuttle's character. But to be fair, the resolution in the director's cut is a dream, so it doesn't fucking matter anyway.
And you don't get that cool set that they did for the torture scene. That's a really cool
It is,
set.
and it probably cost a lot of money. But you know what? Fuck it. The American studio doesn't care. They're just paying to distribute. So, fun fact, my mom is like, I hate that movie. When I told her that we were doing an episode on Brazil, she was like, I fucking hate that movie. And I was like, did you only see the theatrical release? And she was like, yes. And I was like, that's why.
Oh,
I mean, granted, again, I totally understand it if people don't like this movie. It's a
little kooky.
I'm not saying like you're dumb for not like, or you're not artsy enough or whatever. Like, fuck that. You know, it's a weird fucking movie. I like it because I like weird movies.
Right.
But at least, and I love Terry Gilliam's style,
right.
So I can sit through all the weird stuff that like doesn't make sense or is just like, why the fuck did you make this choice? Because I'm like, I love your wide angle lenses and your weird use of like, dolly cam.
We pointed that out every time, like it was a weird camera movement.
Mm-hmm. And like your weird like low angles or shooting through the magnifying glass constantly.
Oh, that was cool.
I loved it. Or the fact that every single computer monitor is only is a cell phone size screen.
But with the magnifying glass,
Which, now that I think of it, okay, you got us there, Terry Gilliam. Everyone looks at our cell phone screens now. You did prophesy something.
Let's be real. I think I want to try to recreate those computer monitors.
Do it.
I have at my home like this old black and white TV. There was like a weird white elephant gift thing, and somebody brought in an old like portable television. It's about that size. If I could dismantle it and get the right cords, I could probably do that.
Nice. Actually, you know what? I think I might have like a crank TV.
Yeah.
That probably doesn't work anymore because it has an old UHF VHF antenna that they don't broadcast anything on those bands anyway. So I could probably fucks with it too.
Yeah, but you know what's great though? Like with those, you can still hook up old video game consoles.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. Yeah, they still have the proper inputs on. I think it has the coaxial input on the back, probably.
Nice.
Maybe even RCA.
Little fun do-it-yourself project.
Yeah.
Make yourself a dystopian future.
Yeah, there you go. Just dismantle it and throw random wires around to make it look like it's important. So I've been talking a lot about it. Briz. Is there anything from the director's cut that you want to talk about that I didn't touch on?
Well, yeah, because I guess I thought it would have been cool if we like talked about like what we thought about the movie, because this was the first time I've seen it, and it was a refresh for you.
Yes. Enough of a refresh that it was almost like seeing it for the first time.
All right.
There's little things here and there that I'm like, oh, I remember that, like the cheek stretching and some of the sets because they're iconic.
The cheek. Oh man, that was unsettling.
Yeah, the plastic surgeon is the I think he's the maitre d' in Moulin Rouge.
Another movie I haven't seen.
Yeah, well,
there's a long list.
Just to throw it in context for, I don't know, people out there who have seen Moulin Rouge but not seen Brazil, now you know one of the actors.
Well, at this point, they've been spoiled completely on this movie.
Hey, you know what? It's fine. It's still weird enough that you're just going to be like, huh? It is 142 minutes. I have not nearly spoiled everything.
Yeah, no, there's still a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, overall, like, it was a fun, off-the-wall movie.
It's essentially, it's very similar to 1984. I read most of that book. The second half of it is very weird because it's all about or reprogramming, brainwashing and stuff like that. And
right.
I just started losing interest. But like the first half of it was really interesting to me. But this is backed up by things I've read online. It's essentially 1984. But shot on acid.
Oh, jeez.
Because again, Terry Gilliam style is kind of like an acid trip while you're watching a movie. Not as much of an acid trip as fuck, this was going to be good because there's a movie that I'm thinking of, but I can't remember the name. But it's weird. It's the main character dies in the first 2 minutes, and it's all about his spirit floating around into the void. I
was going to say Monkey Bone for some reason.
It's called Into the Void. Well, the main character does die in the first 5 minutes of that movie too, but it's not nearly as much of an acid trip as Into the Void. But it's all about his spirit floating around, watching the characters interact after his death. I don't even remember how they're related to him, if they are related to him at all. I saw it once. It's really cool. It's a very interesting concept. I recommend it to people that like weird movies.
Hey. You're a connoisseur of weird movies.
Have you seen Into the Void?
I think you really like it.
A lot of neon lights in it. But yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The only,
there were a lot of points while we were watching that you were just like, the fuck is going on?
Just some decisions, but I just love the sets. And the choices, visually, this is a very good looking, wonderfully thought out movie.
I think the problem that you had was that it took you a little while to get into the mindset of, oh, okay, this is absurdist cinema.
Right. I was taking it at face value.
I forgot that you didn't know that it was an absurd version. It's. Because
all I had was the back of the box and your recommendation of this is a crazy cool movie. So I'm like, okay, maybe. Oh wow, so this is super serious.
It's not just crazy cool because it's a serious movie that's just shot weird, like 12 Monkeys, which I believe is also Terry Gilliam. Which if you haven't seen that, that's a good one.
Maybe you should marry Terry Gilliam.
I would. It's legal now. For now.
Hey buddy, how's it going?
It's not just ridiculous because his ridiculous style, but it's also just meant to be ridiculous, and it's almost a comedy. There's a lot of comedic elements,
right? Because
Terry Gilliam, I'm convinced, can't not be silly,
right?
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
but it helps to know that going into the movie.
No,
because otherwise, the first 30 minutes where you're resetting into it, you're just like, "The fuck is going on?"
Yeah, the very first scene is the whole pipes. It was pipes, right? Or ducks. It was the ducks thing. And it's you can get different color covers for your ducks, and I'm just like, what are you talking about, you strange man? Yeah. You're trying to sell me on floral patterns for these pipes that are providing heat and energy? I don't understand. I'm going to go away now for a while. But yeah, no, I mean, I loved it. It is a movie of its time in terms of writing strong female characters.
Yes.
Just that was just one complaint I had. That just instant swoon.
Where all you need to be a strong female character is you have a slightly rough exterior and one badass scene, and then you're just back to being a generic lady.
Exactly. She literally was put on the pedestal. There was a cage she was in, hovering high above everything in the dream sequences. Speaking of which, he had abs on his armor for those dream sequences, didn't he?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. Are your abs that big that you have to contour this armor to them?
No, it's showing. It's making it appear like he has abs.
Oh, that's true.
It's like Batman's armor.
My armor makes me look like I have enlarged nipples.
Yeah. All right, so check out Brazil if you haven't. Check it out again if you have.
If you check it out on DVD, I mean, more than likely you're going to come across the top-notch version. I think they only released the 32-minute version once on Blu-ray, but then Criterion came out. So if you can find the Criterion, get the Criterion, and you'll even get some of these bonus features because I think they put them on the Blu-ray too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of the bonus features that was what did I say? Almost 2 discs worth of bonus features.
Yeah,
it's on pretty much any Criterion Collection version of the release. We just so happen to be talking about the LaserDisc one because that's who we are. We are the LaserDicks.
Exactly. Well, they have and it looks like we didn't touch base on it, but they have 3 different sections for the bonus stuff: the production notebook, all the different script writing stuff. Oh, and then even the set. I'm gonna look at that because I didn't see anything about the sets when we looked through this once.
Yeah. I will say they did a very good job of mixing live action and miniatures in this, because there were a lot of times where I'm like, wait, are these miniatures? Awesome. Like it was such a seamless switch, and they did such a good quality job on it that like you didn't notice it until, like a couple seconds into the shot. Whereas a lot of times you're just like, whoa, that is a toy playing on a string.
Clearly I can see the string. And then What is Brazil? They had a on-set documentary featuring all the major actors and cast and crew. The Battle for Brazil, video history. I think we watched a bit of this where there's a book author that talks about what happened with this editing job and what exactly went down. And Terry Gilliam, I believe, is a part of that as well. So a lot of cool things in this nice little box here.
Yeah.
So, well, alrighty, man. This has been another great episode.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ken.
And he's still sick.
I am. I don't think I'll ever watch it. Let's see if I'm still sick next episode.
All right.
LaserDicks. This has been another Geek Out production. If you enjoyed what you heard, hey, we've got a new commentary every Monday. We've got a special episode every Friday. Of course, there's the usual catching up show every Wednesday. And you get book club episodes just about every Tuesday these days. Thanks for listening.